All right, today we are diving deep into the heart of Iron Flame to unpack a war that's been fought completely in the shadows. You know, if you thought Bosgiath War College and its deadly parapet were the whole story, you might want to buckle up. This is all about a rebellion that's fueled by lies, by betrayal, and this desperate, desperate search for a truth that could either save everyone or, yeah, doom them all. You know, this one line from Brennan, Violet's brother, who everyone thought was dead for years, it really sets the tone for everything. The real fight for Navarre, it's not happening on some distant battlefield. No, it's a covert operation, a super risky gamble for survival that's being played out, like he says, right under the enemy's nose. So where are these shadows? Well, they have a name, Aurelia. After all the brutal stuff Violet went through in her first year, her entire world just gets flipped upside down. She's not just a cadet anymore, fighting to survive day to day. She's now a rebel, fighting for the future. And she's doing it from this hidden city that just proves how deep this whole conspiracy really goes. And this right here, this is the fundamental lie at the heart of Navarre. For generations, riders have been taught they're fighting a simple border conflict against some political separatists. But the rebellion? They know the horrifying truth. The real enemy isn't political at all. It's this ancient, existential threat that the leadership has gone to absolutely insane lengths to cover up. So, who is this real enemy? The Venin. And you shouldn't think of them as just mages. They're more like a magical plague. They're these soulless beings who literally drain the life from the earth itself to fuel their power. And then they create these monstrous, two-legged wyvern to be their shock troops. So this isn't a war for territory. It's a war for the very soul of the world. And if that wasn't bad enough, here's the ticking clock that's hanging over every single decision. Brennan just makes it terrifyingly clear. The Venin aren't some problem for the future. They are a problem for right now. The rebellion is in this desperate race against an enemy that gets stronger every single day, and the fate of the entire continent is just hanging in the balance. Okay, so they know the truth, right? But knowing is one thing. Fighting it, that's a whole different ballgame. The rebellion realizes the weapons they need aren't swords or signets, but knowledge. Specifically, knowledge that was intentionally erased from history by the founders of Navarre themselves. To win the future, they literally have to uncover the past. Which really makes you ask a critical question, doesn't it? When the answers you need are locked away inside the most heavily guarded fortress on the entire continent, the archives at Bosgiath, what are you willing to risk? For Violet and her friends, the answer is pretty simple. Everything. So their plan is, well, it's audacious. It's a high-stakes heist right under the enemy's nose. And this isn't some simple break-in. It's a practically impossible mission into the heart of their own military college, a place with absolutely zero margin for error. Failure doesn't just mean getting caught. It means being sealed inside a magical tomb forever, taking the rebellion's only hope with them. And the payoff for all that risk? It's huge, and it just shatters everything they thought they knew. Sure, they find clues to the wards, but they also uncover these personal bombshells. Violet discovers a world-altering truth about her own dragon, Adarna. She learns Xaden's most dangerous secret, that he's an intrinsic, a mind reader. And to top it all off, they realize the entire founding story of the Dragon Riders is a carefully constructed lie. So with this game-changing knowledge, the rebellion immediately faces its next impossible hurdle. They're hopelessly outmanned. To stand any kind of chance, they have to forge an alliance with the one group they've been conditioned to hate for centuries, the Griffin Flyers of Poramil. And let me tell you, the cultural divide here, it's not a gap, it's a canyon. You've got the Dragon Riders' brutal survival of the fittest mentality, versus the Griffin Flyers, whose bond with their creatures is an act of faith, not some test of strength. Uniting these two factions means undoing centuries of state-sponsored hatred. And this question from the Griffin Flyer leader, Sirena, wow, it just cuts right to the heart of the problem. Trust isn't just given. It has to be earned through impossible sacrifice. To prove they're serious, the Dragon Riders have to ask their new allies to risk their most precious bonds, their very lives, on nothing more than a promise. But while all of this is happening, while these fragile new alliances are forming on the outside, back inside Bosgiath, Violet is forced to pay a devastating price. Her return to the college becomes an absolute nightmare. The new leadership suspects she's hiding something, and they are willing to break her body and soul to find out what it is. And this is where things get, well, they get truly brutal. Violet is captured and drugged, which severs that sacred connection to her dragons. She's thrown into an interrogation chamber, totally isolated and at the mercy of the sadistic Vice Commandant Varish, a guy who really, really enjoys his work. You'd think that would be the worst part, right? But no. The physical pain is nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to the ultimate betrayal. See, Varish doesn't just torture her body. He brings in the one person she used to trust to break her mind, her childhood friend, Dane Aeatos. Using his signet, the ability to read recent memories through touch, he just rips through her mind, exposing every secret the rebellion fought so hard to protect. And then Dane says this, and it's the final twist of the knife. He isn't some reluctant soldier just following orders. He truly believes Violet is the traitor. It's the ultimate emotional gut punch, and it proves that Navarre's propaganda has completely consumed the boy she once cared about. So you can just feel it all building, right? And this is where it all finally explodes. Every secret, every betrayal, every fragile alliance, it all comes to a head in a single cataclysmic battle for the very heart of Navarra, Basgiath War College itself. So against this massive army of hundreds of wyvern and powerful Venin, what is the rebellion's first line of defense? Get this, 119 cadets. That's it. It's not a defense, it's a desperate, hopeless last stand. So yeah, they have one shot, one single desperate gambit. Using the knowledge they got from those stolen journals, they have to try to imbue Basgiath's central wardstone with enough raw power to raise the wards, which would create a magical shockwave that could, hopefully, annihilate the entire enemy army in one go. But they're running out of time, they're running out of power, it looks like it's over. And then, General Sorrengail drops this massive secret. Sloane Mary, the daughter of a woman who was executed for having a forbidden signet, she's inherited that same power. She can siphon and amplify the magic of others, turning her into a living conduit, the one key they need to power the stone. But even with Sloane acting as this magical amplifier, it's still not enough. And in the end, it's General Sorrengail who pays the ultimate price. In a final stunning act of a mother protecting her children and her country, she pours her own life force into the wardstone, guaranteeing it activates and saving everyone. But right in that moment, the wards are rising. It looks like they've actually won. The story hits us with the most devastating gut punch yet. To save Violet from a Venin general, Xaden did the one thing he swore he never would. He channeled power directly from the earth. He saved her life, but it cost him his own soul. He is now part Venin. Which, of course, leaves us with this final, really haunting question. They saved Basgiath, but their greatest weapon, and Violet's love, has been corrupted by the very darkness they fought. It's a victory paid for in ash and soul. So who truly won? That's the question that's going to haunt us until the next book.